Okay, nothing else heard. Let's get started with the net. So I'm going to begin by saying greetings to one and all. I suppose I should get my teleprompter up so I can actually read it the right way and not upside down. Let's just get there. Okay, now we can start properly. Greetings to one and all, and welcome to this week's net. Those wishing to join the net using Zoom may do so now, as Zoom is open. And I'm busy writing. If you do not have the Zoom link, please contact me on WhatsApp 082-859-2684, and I'll send you the link with the greatest of pleasure. Let me just give that number again, because Brett, you are new. We'll pick up very briefly with you at the end of the net. Let me give you that number again. You can add me to WhatsApp 082-859-2684. Today is Sunday, 7 January 2024, and the time is 19:05. We begin the weekly net with the radio amateur check-ins on the Roodepoort repeater for 5 minutes before proceeding. This net is broadcast every Sunday evening starting at 1900 and is broadcast for the benefit of radio amateurs, disaster relief cert volunteers, and members of the general public. This net is therefore open to all interested parties. Everyone is welcome to participate using either amateur radio, Zoom, or both. I'd also like to remind all the radio amateurs who have not checked in that you do not need to be a member of any group or club to check in or to use the repeater of any of the amateur radio bands. All that is required from you is that you have a valid amateur radio license issued by ICASA, which automatically grants you the right to use any of the amateur radio bands at any time. There is no need to ask for or be granted permission from anyone to use the repeaters or amateur radio bands. And I'd also like to encourage all the listeners and participants to share the weekly net Zoom link with everybody they know throughout South Africa. Doing so will help us grow the weekly net and will contribute to disseminating information as far and wide as possible. Right, so normally this is where I start unpacking the COVID-19 figures. However, due to the festive season, I think the last update by World Health Organization being the only health facility or entity that is still tracking and reporting on figures was the 19th of December, where we were at 772,838,745. Now, as I say, there's no further updates since the 19th of December. Same applies to diphtheria, mpox, measles, rubella, or German measles, whichever way you want to look at it. So no further news. Now, this week I'm going to start with something new. Again, from the ICRC blog, which is https://blogs.icrc.org/2023/12/14/protecting-children-data-AI-ecosystems. Sorry for the long URL, but in order for me to comply with the copyright on the articles written by the International Committee of the Red Cross, I have to actually mention it. Now, the International Committee of the Red Cross, a blog page mentioned above, is the Humanitarian Law and Policy website. So this week we are proceeding with a new subject altogether that is titled Not Children's Play. And this is protecting children's data in humanitarian AI ecosystems. So, as quoted, in times of crises and conflict, advanced artificial intelligence, AI, and the machine learning, AI/ML, might become as much part of the problem as the solution. An ever-growing number of children in need risk having their data used as part of AI systems that do not implement safeguards and protections for the vulnerable populations. Given the short and long-term consequences for the first generations to grow up with AI, there is an urgent need to scrutinize AI-powered systems that are not aligned with the rights, needs, and realities of children in humanitarian action. Sorry, excuse the coughing. In this post, part of a series on cybersecurity and data protection in humanitarian action, Roxana Radu, Associate Professor of Digital Technologies and Public Policy at the University of Oxford's Blavatnik School of Government, and Eugenia Oliaro, I hope I'm pronouncing these correctly, I'm saying them as I read them, the program specialist at UNICEF's Chief Data Office and the Global UNICEF Lead of the Responsible Data for Children, or RD4C initiative, make 3 recommendations for the humanitarian sector to become children-centered in the age of AI. Artificial intelligence, AI, and machine learning, ML systems are increasingly being used when providing emergency relief and vital services to children at a time when more children than ever before are affected by different types of crises around the world. Their data will be consequential in as yet unknown ways, since they are the first generations to be brought up with AI. In a humanitarian context, some of these consequences can be dire, as data can put children and their communities at immediate risk. This holds true not only for big data, but also for small data. Gender disaggregated information about children above a certain age could allow those who want to prevent girls from going to secondary school to do so. Data about child-headed households in a refugee setting would indicate to malicious actors where the unsupervised children are and put those children at risk of exploitation and abuse. Now, equally true, the profiling of beneficiary groups can turn into a life-threatening practice within or outside of the humanitarian setting. New ways of recombining, new ways of recombining data can thus shape children's short and long-term opportunities and life chances in unparalleled ways. Developed at unprecedented speed and scale, ML/AI-based systems rely on data to produce their valuable output, more data. In the process, information about children might feed advanced AI, ML tools beyond their originally specified intent. Due to the complexity and opacity of these systems, it is difficult to ensure that deep learning on particular types of data is not integrated in evolving forms of ML or in related products. This is already the case in highly regulated environments where existing data protection frameworks have proven insufficient to prevent the harms associated with the use of personal data in AI. Now, Regulators in Canada, Australia, or the EU countries race to identify and enforce new rules to regulate AI companies and protect their citizens from murky data protection practices. If business is difficult to govern in highly regulated countries, some wonder how AI would be regulated in places where the rule of law is weak, and it is precisely in those jurisdictions that AI-powered solutions tend to be deployed first. In ecosystems with weaker protections for children, ML systems are able to collect, explore, and integrate more data when allowed to learn in unsupervised ways. At scale, both animalized information and non-personal data about children becomes valuable. Now, in times of an emergency, there is pressure to make data available as fast as possible, meaning that there are inherent risks of much of the data about children being captured by systems that are not scrutinized for their vulnerable population or population's safeguards. While safety checks and licensing of AI systems
doubling on the radio chat.
Who's doubling?
Somebody on top of you, but now it's gone. Oh, they're back.
They're trying to key me out.
No, it's the computer voice.
Unbelievable. That damn thing should, it should be shoved somewhere where the sun don't shine. Okay, so moving on. Now that this whole flow of information has been interrupted because of idiotic Echolink managers and systems. So let's carry on here. While safety checks and licensing of AI systems for specific sectors are under discussion, we are witnessing the fast rollout of systems with minimum or no protection in place for those most at risk. For this reason, machine learning models need to be taught to forget information. Paradoxically, to adopt or adapt machine learning to humanitarian context, machine unlearning will be required. Okay, so that's quite it. I'm going to end the quote there. In part 2 and next week, I'll actually continue with the child-centered AI applications. So that being said, what I would like to do is, in closing, I'd like to encourage everyone to register as a disaster relief cert volunteer and to prepare and to train, assist local communities for when disaster strikes. Let's check. Radio amateurs who have not checked in, please provide your call sign now, and I'll add you to this week's weekly check-in list. This is ZS6 OPS standing by. Okay, nothing else heard. I'd like to thank all those who have checked in this week, as well as those who have joined via Zoom. And as the COVID-19 pandemic is still ongoing and still infecting thousands weekly, please remember to physically distance yourself and to wear a mask to protect others, especially the elderly who could lose their lives if infected with COVID-19. Remember that it is always best to sanitize or wash your hands on a regular basis in any event. Doing so will also assist in stopping the spread of other respiratory diseases as well. And finally, being the first net of the new year, I'd just like to wish everybody a happy and prosperous and financially blessed year this year. And I really hope that things improve right across the board for people as we have come out of 2023. So on that note, be safe, be prepared, and of course, be happy. This is ZS6 OPS now releasing the Rudderpoort repeater for general use. Cheers all. Brett, I'll pick up with you on WhatsApp a bit later. I just want to chat to the guys that are up on Zoom, as we are on a limit there as well. So I'm going to bid everybody farewell for now. 7-3 Z60 PS out.
Is the